whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Good day to wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to this information session with Republic Bank Guyana. And I have joining me today, we have Michelle Johnson, who's a manager for marketing and communications here at Republic Bank. We also have joining us Venus Furt. He is the general manager for credit at Republic Bank, and Jashawn Edmondson, who's the customer sales supervisor across here at Republic Bank. And today they'll be talking about the low-cost mortgage campaign that has been rolled out by the bank. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining us for this discussion, because so many people are building their new homes, they're constructing, they've started, and they want to complete. And now the bank is giving them this wonderful opportunity to get things started and get things really going. So, Michelle, I'm going to kick it off with you to introduce the campaign to our listeners today.
Thank you, Gordon. It's such a pleasure to be here and to talk about this very important topic. For us, it's about living the dream. That's what's here on our T-shirt. And our mortgage campaign is all about living the dream. Now, we have a very exciting campaign in that it's the lowest rates, fantastic giveaways, and concessions that, they've never had before. And if I'm to just share, we started on May 16th, and we're going until August 31st. It's a campaign where for up to $15 million, you can get up to 95 to 100% financing. Our interest rates are 4% up to $7 million. We have it in 3 tiers. So if you're borrowing up to $7 million, it's 4%. If it's above 7 million and up to 10.5%, it's 5.75%. And if you're going, above 10.5 million, up to 15 million, that is 5.95%. All very low rates. And if you borrow within that period, one very lucky winner can get as the grand prize their mortgage free.
Absolutely free.
So it's your home free. And that's not the only thing. We have other prizes as well. You can win a stainless steel refrigerator. You can win a stainless steel stove. And for everyone who comes in to apply on Wednesdays, and if they forget it's Wednesday, they'll know because we'll be wearing these T-shirts. If you come in on Wednesday, it's a 15% off your negotiation fee. So
once they're on Wednesday.
Yes, and once you go on to get the facility approved, of course, you're eligible for that 50% discount on your fees. So we're very excited to bring this campaign, and I want to add too, not to take away from anything my colleagues will have to say, that this is all part of an ongoing partnership, a long-standing partnership that we have with the government of Guyana. This vision to ensure that all eligible Guyanese can have a home of their own. And so we're allowed to, under the agreement that we have with the government, we have very low rates to ensure that if you're low income, it's low cost, and so it's affordable.
And so one of the things people will want to know is, how do you begin the process? How easy is it to begin the process? I'm going to bring Venus in now to start that conversation. So someone decides they want to live the dream, they want to follow the dream, and they want to start the new house. They've had a piece of land waiting for a while. How easy is it to begin that process and to get approved?
Well, thank you, Gordon. I would like to say that I think the process is quite easy. The list of requirements is not as daunting as most persons would think. It is easily found on our website, where you can go in and you will go under where we would list all the requirements. But for the sake of the conversation at this point in time, if it is that you are now acquiring land or you are acquiring a turnkey home, what they will need to bring in is a signed agreement for sale and purchase. In addition to which, they can come with a title document. They will need to get a professional valuation over the property in its current state, and they'll need to present up-to-date paid rates and taxes, water receipts, as well as lease receipts if that is applicable. If the person is an employed individual, then they will need to come in with a job letter as well as 2 most recent pay slips. If they are self-employed, however, they can come in with an income statement, and we'll present additional documentation for them to fill out, which will just basically outline their income that they would have earned over the course of a period of time. In addition, they come in with normal requirements such as one form of identification. They will bring forward a proof of address. If it is that their address would have changed, we always try to update that information, as well as their TIN certificate. If it is that the individual is now building their home, however, they will of course need to bring the approved building plans to us. They will also need to bring a signed and detailed estimate of the construction costs, as well as a projected valuation, so we'll get an understanding as to what the value of the property will be at the end of the project. And that is basically a comprehensive list of the requirements that we need.
What about their credit history? Because I know some persons might be fearful of going behind this mortgage or this loan because they might have had some history in the past. They forget to pay one store 1 month, or they have a running history with another business. How could that impact on the loan that is being offered?
Well, it is a very important aspect of our analysis in terms of granting a mortgage loan. That's why we always try to encourage our customers, when you come to us, you need to give us full disclosure. Yes. Let us know if you have any borrowings. Let us know whether or not you would have had any challenges in repayment in the past, because it will eventually show up. And while we can make some kind of adjustments, or we could put things in place, even though a customer may have had a bad experience in the past, the reality is that it's a relationship. And if you don't tell us the truth, or you don't tell us everything that we need, then that trust aspect will bear in on the decision at the end of the day. But I will say, just because you have a bad credit history, or you may have had a challenge in the past, doesn't mean that you will not be able to get through with a mortgage loan. That's a misconception that a lot of people have. Sometimes things change. You may have lost a job, and you may have had a challenging time paying, and you may have been what we call relegated, and the bank had to recover, or you may have gone in after some time, after having some arrears, and you would have brought your loans up to date and eventually paid off. That will show up. But if we understand the circumstances that would have led to you leading down to this path, then we can put something in place, and we can make new accommodation for you to be able to qualify for your mortgage loan.
I'm going to come across to Jashonda, because you were sort of like on the front line. They were going to begin the process by meeting those loan officers. So whether they're coming into the branch on Water Street, or in Linden, or in Camp Street, when they come to that officer, what will the conversation be like for them?
Well, first the first thing we would do is try to make sure that the customers, that they have everything that they need to get the process started. Now that's important, because a lot of people forget, whether it's the plan, or in some cases the valuation, for instance. So we just make sure that you have everything. That's the first thing. And I can tell you the process is quite seamless. The only thing that would keep it back, I would say, is just a visit the bank has to do to properties, for instance. We have to make sure, well, in some cases, customers, they might have started construction. So therefore, we go to see exactly where in that phase of construction you are. So once we verify that, then we send out the application. And you could say roughly within a week and a half to 2 weeks the most. That is given that you've brought in everything, your job letters, payslip, like everything that Venus would have mentioned before. And then, we would get back to you immediately, because we know.
Doors and windows, Republic. Rooms and more, Republic. A brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come to and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn some day into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
We can make new accommodation for you to be able to qualify for your mortgage loan.
I'm going to come across to Jashonda, because you were sort of like on the front line. They were going to begin the process by meeting those loan officers. So whether they're coming into the branch on Water Street, or in Linden, or in Camp Street, when they come to that officer, what will the conversation be like for them?
Well, first the first thing we would do is try to make sure that the customers, that they have everything that they need to get the process started. Now that's important because a lot of people forget, whether it's the plan or in some cases the valuation, for instance. So we just make sure that you have everything. That's the first thing. And I can tell you the process is quite seamless. The only thing that would keep it back, I would say, is just a visit the bank has to do to properties, for instance. We have to make sure, well, in some cases, customers, they might have started construction. So therefore, we go to see exactly where in that phase of construction you are. So once we verify that, then we send out the application. And you could say roughly within a week and a half to 2 weeks the most. That is given that you've brought in everything, your job letters, payslip, like everything that Venus would have mentioned before. And then, we would get back to you immediately because we know a number of things are against you. You have time, right? So we know time is ticking. You want to look at the weather, like we have this wonderful weather today. So all that we keep in mind, and we know, especially for contractors, because contractors don't wait around. So we try to meet the customers in the shortest possible time in those applications.
And the thing about it is that the person could actually start building on their own. Some folks like to start the process. They do the foundation, and so they now just want to complete that process. So they have a little savings put aside, and so they're now ready to move up with the walls and everything else. So they can actually do that and come into the bank and continue.
That's right. You're not restricted to starting the construction from scratch. I mean, Republic Bank, with this offer that we would have also mentioned, you can get 95% or even 100% depending on where you are in the phase of construction, because we take into account the down payment, which is, in some cases, we use the land if you've already acquired it, or if you've started construction, we would make an assessment of how far you've gone. So for those out there that are thinking, well, we need to acquire money in order to get the process started, my advice, even if you don't have documents, nothing is preventing you from coming into any one of the branches, and you just come and have that discussion. We will let you know, well, if you need to get anything, right? So once you come in, chances are you might not need to get any money down. We can start the process.
And Venus might want to add to that a bit, but before that, I just wanted to share, in addition to coming into the branch, one of the things that perhaps a lot of people don't know is that you can apply online. You can initiate this application online. Wherever you see the ad for this campaign, you click on it, it takes you straight to an application page. And you can take your time, put in all your information, see what is required. But once you submit that application, we contact you and we follow through. We have a look at your documents. You can even upload those online. So Juswan is right. You don't have to wait. You can go online and we will contact you. Even if it's just for advice as well, you can call us or WhatsApp us, 600-0087, or you can email us at GY Marketing Campaigns as well, and we can get back to you. Because one of the things we understand with home ownership, and especially as in this campaign, focus on first-time homeowners. When you're a first-time homeowner, you may have a lot of questions there, lots of things that you don't understand. We understand our role in guiding you, advising you, and just helping you to understand that you too can achieve this dream. And so we want to encourage persons not to wait to visit the branch. You can reach us by other means: WhatsApp, telephone, email, online. A click on the campaign ad. And I know that Venus might want to talk a bit more about the fact that even if you have advanced, you put down your blocks or whatever, it's a good thing. It works in your favor.
Yes, I would like to expand on that, because what a lot of people believe is that they have to have a certain amount of money in the bank, or they have to reach a certain stage in their construction before they come to the bank to seek financing. But as Jusan would have explained, sometimes we even use the land as the equity contribution, and we will give 100% financing for the building itself. So if you already own land, or you may have already started that project and you may have been able to just put on the foundation and you realize you're running out of funds, we can actually get a valuator to assess the value of the works that you would have done up to that point in time, or the value of the land up to that point in time. And we will put that into a formula and count it as part of the equity. And you'll be able to get the funds from that point once you qualify to be able to take your project forward.
Because that's something people are concerned about. They think it's like a car loan, right? So they always have to come with this percentage of the entire, mortgage to the bank. But it's not necessarily that way.
No, definitely, it's not that way. We would look at what the value of your land, because really and truly, you would have already expended funds to acquire that land. If you would have gone forward and you would have started building, you would have already expended funds towards putting up what you would have put up already, whether it's the foundation, whether you would have put up some columns, you would have already expended funds, right? What persons think is that if I need $1 million to complete, I know that's way under shooting, right? But if they're saying I need $1 million to complete, they believe they have to have a percentage of that million. But the equity, the funds they would have already spent, that is already their contribution. All they need is the remaining, and we will look at what they would have spent as that contribution.
What about couples? How do you deal with couples? They might have this dream for a nice fancy house, but the land is in the husband's name, but the wife makes more money than the husband, or the other way around. But they come into the bank together. How could the bank, in a case like that, work along with them and to get that new house? Do they have to have the land in both of their names if they're coming together? How is that done?
No, the land doesn't necessarily have to be in both names. The land could be in one person's name. Once that person is actually a party to the loan, then definitely the land will be utilized, because it will be securing their loan as well, right? So we encourage persons to come on a joint basis, especially if you want to have a house that may be further outside of your individual means. But of course, it has to be married individuals. It could be whether it's those who actually went through the wedding process. We also recognize common law relationships in being able to qualify for those loans. So you come in, you let us know what you would like to do. We will do the assessment based on joint incomes, but that also means that you have to give us joint disclosure. One person can't come and disclose everything about them, but the other party, they have a situation that they aren't disclosing. We would need information for both parties, and we will be able to consider them as on a joint basis.
And the Living the Dream promotion, it is specific. There's a limit as to how much you can borrow from the bank. $15 million. So if you want to put up your mansion, this is not a deal for you. You have to come outside.
But we do have other categories of borrowing, because as we mentioned earlier, this is really for low-income persons to make it affordable for them to live the dream, as we're calling it. But we also have our Easy Home segment, for the more affluent target group. And those interest rates are also very competitive, but within that range, because we don't have the concession that we have under the agreement with the government for low income. We also have another mortgage product, Set for Life, we call it, where you can use equity in your home to finance other projects. You may want to start a small business, you may want to educate yourself. If you have paid down your facility and you have room there, and even for this person who would win this campaign, they will have the full 15 million or whatever is the value of the home that they can borrow against. But I want to touch on something else. It might be 15 million, but in terms of what you can actually borrow, it really has to do with your own circumstance and what you can afford to repay. And one of the things just one said earlier is that we would, and Venus touched on it, full disclosure, because sometimes people come and believe that they probably won't want the bank to know that they have higher purchase or they have a credit union loan or something. But it's important for us to know, especially from the perspective of our ability to guide you in what might be the most realistic thing, because the last thing you want to do is give a mortgage that somebody's training to pay, and then they have a difficulty with that. You must enjoy your new home.
Yeah.
You must enjoy it. And I suppose another important thing is that maybe what you can afford now might be 10 million. But then as you go along, you may be able to expand here, put on a bit there. So what I would advise people to do is to let us work together in building a right kind of relationship where we lend to you what is within your means to pay. And, it's a good loan for us. And together we work. Because if later on you've paid down and you're able to come back, we're right there for you.
Does the design of the home matter? Because I know there's an ongoing project by the government too, and you're working along with them with that project. But they're showing you 3 different types of model homes, A, B, or C. So with this one, you can put your own design, you can put your own style. Once it falls within,
Once it falls
Your
within
income.
the 15 million.
then they can get that.
Yes,
Yes.
of course. And those homes that the government have, under this project, where they're assisting persons who may have had land for some time, I think that's what you're referring
Yeah.
to now, and they can go and, they can meet with us and have a chat. Under that one, we know of the value of the homes. We also know the homes, and it falls coincidentally, well within this campaign. And so it allows even persons who have an application under that facility to qualify to win the grand prize in this Living the Dream campaign.
And of course, that grand prize again is
Your home, up to
Absolutely
15 million paid off.
paid
by
off.
the bank.
So that person will be a happy camper.
Yeah.
Now, I know one of the things people look at too when they're applying for a mortgage, they look at their age. And when we're talking about house construction, and so many persons have been waiting a while for their land. So they're hitting in their 40s, they now got the land, they're paying off of that, and they're afraid to come into the bank because they're concerned about how many years they might be able to pay this. And they don't want to be, coming to the bank with a stick at 70 and 80, to still pay back that mortgage. So how can you allay those fears? What is the time span for the repayments? How can you make them comfortable if they can, this Monday, win the lottery? Or, Auntie Sue in America can send a little top up for you this month. And so how does that work?
Yes, well, we usually try to keep the loan terms within the retirement age.
Okay.
So it will be up to the age, it will be from the age they are now up to retirement age with a maximum term of 30 years. We would generally, for persons who are working in the public sector, that retirement age usually falls at 55. Persons who work in the private sector, that is usually 65. So if you're, per se, a teacher, for instance, and you're retiring at 55, then definitely the earlier that you could come in to get that mortgage loan, of course, attaining the age of majority, then definitely it will work out more in your favor because you'll be able to have that loan outstanding for a longer period of time. There are exceptions every now and then where we may have gone beyond the retirement age, but we try to maintain that as an exception, and that would usually be based on whether a person is self-employed, because self-employed individuals could work well beyond the standard retirement age. Some of them could actually work to the age of 80, because I know individuals who still own their own businesses at that age, and they can afford a mortgage. So in those instances, we would be willing to go beyond the standard retirement age, but generally we try to stick within that time frame. Beyond that, persons can, of course, accelerate repayments, because we know that your economic circumstances change, it evolves over time. You may be working for one salary today, but in a few years your salary may be much higher. You may have changed jobs and you may be working for a higher salary. Or as you rightly said, they may have won the lotto and they want to pay down or pay off, right? If that person wants to pay down or pay off, we don't put restrictions on that. Once you are paying down from additional income that you would have earned, we allow you to pay down without penalties. That is, in fact, a significant benefit, because as Michelle would have explained earlier, once you start to pay down your loan, equity becomes available. And when that equity becomes available, you can use that equity to borrow again for some other purpose. And that's why this mortgage campaign is actually so wonderful. It's excellent because it gives one lucky person the ability to get a home fully paid off. And when you get that home fully paid off, you yes, you can just sit down in your home and enjoy it. You don't have a loan to pay. But if you had some other dream, you wanted to start a business for the longest while, but you always thought, I don't have anything to back me financially to be able to start that business, you could actually use your home, the equity in that home, to borrow and start your business at that point in time.
And Jashawn, I'm going to come back to you now because to touch on a point Venus raised, there may be a lot of self-employed persons out there who are watching the program and they want to know if this is for them because, in this self-employed field, you might have a good month, 1 month you're a vendor, things looking up this month, the rain comes, you can't sell for 3-4 days, things might not be the same. So what are the things they would need to bring into the bank to sort of guide them along the way?
Right. So they need not worry because it's really similar to the employed individual, but they have to bring in their statement of income. And in addition to that, if something, you mentioned something just now, but if something goes wrong, it's always good to come in and have a discussion with your loan officer because, if you keep all this that is happening to you on a rainy day to yourself, then the loan officers would not be able to guide you and help you out, getting out of that jam that you're in, right? There are measures that the bank can take in order to help you along the way if you come across, a bumpy road, so to speak. And it's always good. Have a discussion with your officers. I don't know, there's this thing out there that they're so afraid of the banks. Some people are even more afraid of us than the police. So but all we can do is discuss with you. I tell my customers, why are you afraid to come in? We can't lock you up or anything. We just want to know what's going on with you. You're alive, you're well, and so that we can document it so that our, senior management can be aware of what's happening with you. Right, so that when we go now, we can make the necessary recommendations so that you can get back on your feet.
Yeah. What about persons who might have an existing loan with the bank? They bought a car a couple of years ago, so they have like 3-4 years still on that car, but they're seeing this deal now, and they want to get in on the deal before it expires. What would you say to those persons who, were a part of another promotion you had when they were realizing a dream?
Yes. Well, unfortunately, this campaign will not allow for refinancing of loans for other purposes because it's a low-cost mortgage campaign. It's specifically towards that agreement that we will have signed with the government several years ago to finance persons who are first-time homeowners who are looking to acquire their homes for the first time. So that under that agreement, we can only finance persons who are now acquiring land, or they are acquiring a home, or they are going to be building a home on land. It is not for other purposes such as purchasing a car, refinancing loans, taking over from other financial institutions. It is not for those purposes. So unfortunately, those persons will not be able to qualify under this campaign. However, if a person is looking to refinance a loan and they are looking to build a house, we can look at them to build the house under this campaign. But if according to their assessment, the existing loans will take them outside of what they can afford, then we can have a separate discussion on how we can look at refinancing that loan on terms that are more amenable, so that way they will be able to qualify for both at the same time.
Okay. And Michelle, touching back to you, and as part of the promotions outside of the big giveaway of the free home, are there other prizes that the bank is looking at?
I'm glad you asked that because even though I said it before, I'm happy to say it again. We will have also, you can win a stainless steel refrigerator, you can win a stainless steel stove, or if you come in on Wednesdays, you can get 50% off of your negotiation fees once that loan goes on to be approved. But what we want to say, you come to Republic Bank for this Living the Dream facility. That's a win all by itself because nowhere else can you really get currently that 100% financing. And 100% because, as we said, you may have already put into the home.
Yeah.
You don't have to put anything else. Let us know what it is you want. Once when we have assessed it, it is well within, what you can afford and so on, up to 100% financing you can get. And I can say that we already have some very, very satisfied customers and even people who contact us by our WhatsApp number 6000087. Sometimes they'd follow up to let us know, just how grateful they were because of how easy it was. And they had no idea. As Venus said earlier, and just one, you may be thinking of owning your home and you might think, I'll wait a bit until I save some money or until I'm 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you come and you give yourself that room to retirement, what it means is much more affordable monthly repayment period. Because the later you come, the shorter the payback time, the higher the monthly repayments. So I'd like to encourage persons. I mean, we talk as a nation about encouraging the youth and having opportunities for youth, and there are persons considered to be youth.
All of us.
You don't have to convince me. Yes. Who may think that this is something you start thinking about in your 30s or whatever. But the early you come and sit down with your bank and talk about it, you'll see, because some of you are paying rents that are higher than what you would actually pay if you were to come and have a low-cost mortgage.
And Gordon, I would like to just add to what Michelle is saying. I would just like to say that now is the time to come in. You have this campaign here. You really don't want to miss out on this opportunity, because really and truly there are three things that are working against you at any point in time. Time is the first one. We would have stated that there's a maximum time frame. We usually look at the retirement age. Every day that passes, time is going against you. The second thing is that based on where Guyana is heading economically, the value of properties are increasing every day. The longer you take to move forward with a project of this nature, the more expensive it is going to become for you in terms of the availability of land as well as the cost of acquiring land. The third thing is commodity prices on the international market right now has been increasing. Steel today is not what steel was a couple of years ago. And every couple of weeks we see building prices going up. It continues to escalate, and you don't want to miss out on the opportunity and allow that to continue happening.
So take advantage now. That's the takeaway.
Definitely.
Take advantage now from this. So folks who are now joining us, we're talking about the Living the Dream promotion coming to you from Republic Bank Guyana, available at all your branches across the country, from Linden to Lethem and all around Georgetown. It's available, and in Berbice and Essequibo too. As we get ready to wrap up again, we want to talk about the importance of starting the process. As you rightly said, it is to start the process now. To go into the bank and to begin having that conversation with the loan officers. And I know you would say it's important to have an appointment before you come in, but they can also come in and begin the conversation with one of the folks in the bank.
Yes, the appointment is really for your convenience.
Yeah.
Because, and when you apply online, when you initiate the application online, we get the opportunity to talk with you to see if your preference would be to have an appointment, and you select your branch or anywhere. So the appointment to have a loan is not to restrict you, is really for your convenience. So you can indicate that this time and this day would be best for you, and we will accommodate you or try our best to accommodate you. And so you can come in, you can call us, you can WhatsApp us, you can email us, and I'm going to give the details again for anyone who might have just joined. You can email us at gymarketingcampaigns@rfhl.com. You can WhatsApp or call us on 600-0087. You can visit any branch. You can email any loan officer you know. There's always a way to reach us. It's for you to choose, because we're really here for your convenience. We're happy, even if it is that you just have questions at this stage, we're happy to talk with you about that. And I like that Venus spoke about the fact that, now is the time.
Yeah.
There's another advantage, because the value of your home in a few years will be way more than the value of your home will be now and this year. So you really have nothing to do.
And that's a good thing, because we're seeing hotels popping up. This week we saw a new hotel, Sheraton, coming to Guyana. We're hearing about new Marriott's hotels. So obviously in those areas, the price is going to start going up for the properties too. So in 5 years, the $15 million you spend now,
Exactly.
if you want to sell the property back, you might be having a very good payday for retirement. And so that's something that they should, of course, examine. Well, I want to thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Venus, and thank you, Jashawn, for talking with us here at Republic Bank about this offer, Living the Dream. They're encouraging you to go to the Republic Bank website, check out their Facebook page, and follow the campaign and take advantage of it now.
Doors and windows, Republic. Rooms and more, Republic. A brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.